So this, first of all, go ahead and label it on the computing side. This is number 25. And if you look at this side, this will be interesting. What did Mrs. Snerd say when her son ate 17 chocolate chip waffles with 2 pints of syrup? We shall find out. But when you see one of these worksheets with multiplication, division, is there any addition? It means we're coming to the end of multiplication, division. This is kind of like a review. So we're probably going to have a test right at the beginning of next week. We're over and done with it. And then we're going to get into your algebra book, which I'm going to show you in a second. But the ones that we're going to go over on this side, these, and they're my favorites to have on a test, so make sure you really understand it. It says, how many acres, and you will need to use line paper for this side, except for some of the ones without any mixed numbers, you can do there. Actually, do you have enough room to do them here? Do you think? I don't know. Well, I'm going to do this one on the line paper. All right, so it says, how many acres of corn can he harvest in 10.5 days? Farmer Brown can harvest 2.5 acres in 1 day. How many acres can he harvest in many days?
2 1/3 times 10.5.
Yeah, is it multiplication or division? And by the way, I'm going to show you a way that you can set it up. You all had ratio and proportions last year, is that right? Okay, so here's a ratio right here. I've got 2 1/3 acres that he can harvest in 1 day. And over here, how many acres? I don't know. I match up things. How many acres in 10.5 days? Do you remember cross multiplying?
Oh, yes.
So this sets it up for you. A times 1, what's 1 times A?
1A.
Is A, or 1A, but then it's just A.
Oh, yeah.
And then this is, that tells us we have to do what? Multiply. It sets it up for us. So it's 2 1/3. So if you ever get confused, try your ratio and proportion, because we'll probably need it on this next one. So 2 1/3 times 10.5. And I'm going to estimate, my answer should be around, who knows what? We did some estimation already. 20 something, you're right. It's going to be over 20. So let's go ahead and work this one out really quick. 3, 2, check plus. That's going to be what? 7. The next one's going to be what? 20 times 21. Is there anything we can reduce on top and bottom? Trinity, do you see anything we can reduce? The what? Yeah, 3 goes into 3 ones. 3 goes into that 7. So multiply straight across. 49 over 2. And if that were a 50, 50 divided by 2 is 25. So this is going to be what? 24. And 24 times 2, we've used 48 pieces to fill those 24 boxes. How many are left? 1. So it's going to take, so they're going to be able to harvest 24.5 acres. Yeah, because my answer is in acres. So 24.5. And then how do I do this? I don't know. Number, is that answer there? 24.5. Oh, it's the letter I. So what you do on this one is you cross out all the I's. Every I that you see, I'm going to cross that out. I'm going to cross that out. And that's it. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and do, and then once you've got done crossing out all of the letters, it's going to give you the answer to the puzzle. And I really want to know what it is. I mean, and to be very honest, because you've got the mixed up answers here, if you just cross them off, that's fine with me. As long as you cross it, you have to find your mixed up answer. Because if we want to see that you're not making mistakes, or if you do, you recheck it or ask me and I'll help you through it. I'm going to say you don't have to do the puzzle if you don't want to. Then this one, let's see the difference on this one. How many days will it take him? This almost sounds the same, but it's very different. How many days will it take him to harvest 10.5 acres? So that's his total. That's what he's going to be harvesting. So I'm going to draw a picture so you can see, but then we're going to do it ratio and proportion. So this is how many acres he's going to be harvesting. Then it says, and we're looking for days, how many days will it? He can harvest 2 1/3 of corn in 1 day. So here's 2 1/3. That's 1 day. Is it going to take him another day? Yeah. Here's another day. He can harvest another 2 1/3. Is it going to take him another day? Probably. Who knows what we're going to have to do to solve this? What am I doing with that total? I'm cutting it up, which is I'm dividing it up. I'm seeing how many 2 1/3 are in there, because that's going to tell us the number of days. There's probably another one. I think it might be 1, 2, 3, 4, and something. I don't know. Could we estimate on this? 10 divided by 2 is 5, but that half is going to cut into that 5. It's probably going to be 4 something. So, and by the way, if I have this on a test, which I love these as test problems, is I'm also going to do it as a ratio and proportion, and let's see if it's different. So you might want to jot this down. I'm going to put, here's my ratio right here of comparison of 2 things. 2 1/3 acre. He can do that in 1 day. And the question is, how many days? This time I don't know the number of days, so it goes here. I don't know. How many days will it take him to harvest 10.5 acres? So again, acres and acres, days and days. So watch what happens when I do this one. And I usually start with the variable. So this one is 2 1/3 times D is 2 1/3 D equals 1 times 10.5 is 10.5. So again, this works if you didn't see that it was a division. And even if I can see it, I want to make sure ratio and proportion never fails. And then, do you remember how you get, I want that D all by itself. How can I get rid of the 2 1/3?
You do the opposite.
You do the opposite operation. Very good. That is a times. So I'm going to divide. I'm going to divide. So this kind of proves that it ends up that it is a division. It's going to be the total divided by the 2 1/3. So it's going to be the total 10.5. And we have to write it like this now, divided by 2 1/3. And this will tell us the number of days. So again, get your denominator, check plus, and then I always call it dizzy division. Somebody's going to flip. It's going to be the second person. Leave, change it to a multiplication, and flip. Does anything reduce?
Yes. 21.
The 21 and the 7. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 21 divided by 7 is 3. There's nothing else. So it's going to be 9 over 2, which is, do you know what that is in your head?
4.5.
4.5. Yeah. Then we said it was going to be a little bit under 5 days. So that should be it. It's going to take him 4.5 days to harvest that. So 4.5 days, and that is somewhere. And it is right here. So we're going to cross off all the letter S's. S. Was that it? I think that's it. Okay. Again, you don't need to do the puzzle if you don't want, but you must find your answers. Now, we're going to flip it over. Let me see our time. We're doing good. We are doing good. Flip it over because this is kind of unusual. But some of these I'm doing extra that they're not doing in the regular because these are good thinking problems. Math without computing is almost exactly what it means. We're not going to have to compute these each and every time. So let's go ahead and see what, let me give let's see. This has 3 questions. We'll do this one maybe. We'll do this one, the number 3. Okay, Mr. R is gluing ceramic tiles on a kitchen counter that it's 62.5 inches long. That's his total. Okay, that is his total. And by the way, here are the 3 types of setups that we're going to have on all of these. It kind of looks like 6.5. That kind of looks like 7.5. I mean 6.5, 62.5. Okay. It says each tile is 4 inches. Okay. How many complete tiles are in every row? So let's just make sure they're the same unit. The total is 61.5 inches long. The tiles are 4. So again, if I do a picture, this is 62.5 inches long is my countertop, and every tile is 4 inches. 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches. Who knows how I can figure out how many tiles I'm going to have? Because I'm going to divide up my total. I'm dividing up my total by 4, and it's going to tell me. So all I need you to do is which equation is that going to be? Is it the first, second, or third? So just write it down. Write it over to the side. It is 62.5 divided by 4. This is really important. So tell me which one that you used. But there's no work to do because they've already solved it. Okay, so is that correct? Is that the correct equation? We take the total divided by 4. But now, here's the important part. How many, and I wish I had an answer bank, and I don't. How many complete tiles are in each row? Is that my answer?
Yes. No.
Okay, I need help. I need help. Max, is this my answer for A?
For A?
Yeah. How many of you think this is, I mean, they've divided, and that is the answer. That's the answer if I take 62.5 and I divide it by 4.
Oh, complete tiles.
But there's the word. Okay, you need to look at this. How many complete tiles do I have? Do I have a 16th tile? I've got 15 complete tiles, and then they had to cut a little piece because it wasn't quite 4 inches. So how many complete tiles do I have? I've got 15. Then it says, and I'll see if I have the answer bank, I don't know. Then it says, okay, this is a good one. How many tiles is he going to need all together to make that first row of tiles? Does he just need 15? Who thinks, how many tiles does he have to buy to get that first row in there? Can you buy 5/8 of a tile? You need 16. You need to buy 16 tiles. And then you're not going to use part of the 16th, but you have to buy 16. Then, in each row, what fraction of that 16th tile is used? There you go. Here's my 16th tile. Again, I'm not going to use the whole piece, but I'm using, on that last tile, that 16th tile, I'm using 5/8. So these are thinking problems that you need to know how to do them. I will help you with another one And let's see if we can get it. The A, B, and C ones are pretty cut and dry. But let's look at this one. The coach needs to buy 12 pounds of peanut butter to feed his football team. By the way, that is my total. He needs 12 pounds altogether. If he buys peanut butter in jars containing 1 1/4 pounds, how many jars should he buy? Okay, so again, he's buying the jars in 1 and 1. So this is the jar to put the peanut butter in, is 1 1/4 jar. Here's another one. Does he need another jar?
Yes.
He absolutely needs another jar. Okay. What am I doing with that 12? I'm dividing it up. So which one has 12 as a total and divided by 1 1/4? Which one is it? It's the second one. So this one is, I'll squeeze it in here, the 12 divided by 1 1/4 equals 9 3/5. So I'm going to go through the scenario is how many, if I went through this questioning, I would say how many filled jars would he have? Is he going to have 9 filled jars or 10 filled jars?
10. Oh, filled?
Yeah. He'd only have 9. You know, I'd have to buy another jar, I think. It says, then after completely filling as many as possible, which is this one, what part of another can, that's wrong. Okay, that's another one. If he buys peanut butter in jars containing 1 1/4 pound, how many jars should he buy? Oh, I put it on the wrong spot. I'm so sorry, people. Bad teacher. Very bad. Okay. If he buys peanut butter jars containing 1 1/4 pounds, so he needs 12 pounds. He needs 12 pounds for sure. If I divide it by 1 1/4, I'll have 9 3/4. How many jars should he buy?
10, because he can't buy 3/4 of it.
You can't buy 3/4 of a jar. There you go. So these are thinking problems. I'll try to get all the, he has to buy 10. If he wants 12 pounds, you can't buy that part of a jar. So the answer is going to be what?
10.
The answer is going to be 10. So you have to be really careful. What I would do first, yeah, how many jars? He wouldn't have enough if he just bought 9. He would have to buy 10. I don't know what other question I can ask you. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to see if I have my old mixed up numbers. So I would start on the other side, and then I'm going to give you the mixed up answers in a little bit that we can write down. So you'll have something that, you know, you can tell if it's wrong or not. So I would start, girls and boys, maybe with this side, that you have the mixed up right away, answers right away, and then I'll come back and I'll give you the mixed up answers for this side. Alrighty? So you can go ahead and begin. And I'm going to freeze this just for a second. I might go on pause.
Do we do this? Do this side?
I would do, if you could do it neatly here, I'll let you do it there. If you could squeeze it in, I don't think you're going to be able to. I don't think you're able to. No, never mind. On any division, starting from here, write these on paper. Because you're going to have to do your check plus and bring that over. You'd have to bring over 9 over 2. 9 over 2 on the number 10 divided by 9 over 5. And then you have to leave change flip. So yeah, you will have to use your paper starting from number 7. And again, I'm going to try to pause this and get those mixed up answers. I'm still recording, but it's okay. People at home, just pause it. I'm going to get those mixed up answers. I can't. I have to stop it.